G'day guys, it's Stewie here from Dougie West Tackle World down on the Gold Coast, here doing the fishing report with you guys today for the Friday the 6th, Saturday the 7th and the 8th of June. Guys, this year's rocketing along. I'm here by myself today. Dougie is away fishing again. And look guys, this week we actually were fortunate enough to have a couple of days of reasonable weather midweek, so the guys that got out definitely caught a few. And look, this weekend shaping up to be not too bad as well. So perfect opportunity to get the boat out there and finally do some offshore fishing. So guys, we'll start offshore like normal and we'll work our way in and yeah, we'll cover all the bases. So first of all, the weather this weekend doesn't look too bad. So bit of westerly this week throughout the week and over the weekend coming up. And it definitely means that in close fishing, so say 24 fathoms and closer, is not too bad, quite fishable. And past the 24s onto the 36s and 50s might be a little bit rough. Past the 50s, I wouldn't really worry about. It looks like it's going to pick up a little bit out there. Obviously, being further away from land, the rougher it is. So westerly winds are quite hard to understand type of thing. When you're going out the seaway, it's nice and flat. You go in with it, you get all the way out to the 50s or beyond, and you turn around to do your drift and it's like mountains. You've driven through it and it's rough as guts out there. So you've got to try to remember every now and then maybe stop or just be mindful of your surroundings as you're going out there. If it is getting quite rough, obviously don't go further because it will get worse throughout the day as well. So anyway, while we're out there, look, deep dropping this week, guys. I haven't heard it too much just because of that weather as well, and they were westerly, so it was a little bit average out wide. And this weekend looks about the same. So coming in to about the 50s, which is probably about as far as you want to go if that weather does do what it says it's going to do. Northeast 50s, up off the jumper pin, lots of kingies and amberjack up there, still jigging and live baiting. So the kingy ledge is, yeah, roughly off of the jumping pin, in around about that 85 to 95 metre type of depth. Sound around, try to find the fish because jigging is a little bit of hard work. And then once you get there, you want to drop down metal jigs like these fellas here. So I know we show similar ones every week, but these are just the ones that work. Longer, skinnier profile, and anywhere from around about that 200 gram type size. Just got a massive range of Ocean Legacy stuff back in stock as well. Ready to go, rigged. Good hardware on those ones. If not, we sell lots of Japanese jigs on their own, and obviously we've got all the rigging stuff to go with them. So jigging, fast stuff, so find the school, go just up current from it, drop it down, and you want to be quite erratic with your actions. So great way to get them. And even if you've got someone that's bait fishing and stuff like that, try to have one person jigging, because if they are a little bit shut down and stuff like that on the bait, someone jigging in the other corner might be able to trigger a bit of a bite out of them, and then everyone's onto them at once. So it's always a good way of finding fish, and it's a very fast way of fishing as well. So great option while we're up around that area. Around though that say 100 to 115 metre stuff, so just on the outside edge of the 50s, still been lots of pearlies and snapper and things like that around the wireweed patches out there. So slow pitch jigging's definitely the way to go there. Again, Ocean Legacy Ravens, we just got these fellas back in stock. These are great, we've been using these for over a year now. Come rigged, ready to go. Great flutter on the sink. If not, a little bit easier to work. Not much action needed at all. Just the ball jigs. So Shimano and Daiwa ones there, Kogas and Baku Bakus. They work absolutely fantastic as well. And guys, when you're doing this type of stuff, you're not catching a lot of things with big teeth or anything like that. So you don't have to use too heavy a leader. So we just stick to 40-pound leader, 60 at a stretch. And it just allows your jig to be a lot more natural on the sink and when you're working it as well. So more action, more fish. Coming in a little bit, guys, so say around the 36s, plenty of snapper around there as well, trag, tuskies, all that mixed kind of bottom demersal fish. Again, ball jigs work quite well. If not, just a simple Paternoster rig. So around the fads, we always say it, but those fads have been put on reef just to anchor them, so they're there. And it's a great area. If you don't have any marks around the 36s or whatever, have a look around those fads within a K type of thing, north or south on the same depth line, and you'll definitely find some reefs. So up off Fad 3, which is kind of the northeast 36s from the Seaway. There's a great patch of reef just to the north of that. And then the Fads straight east, which are 12 A, B and C, I think, they have a lot of reef just to the south end of them. So great little area to start looking. And while you're around there as well, have a look for dolphin fish. There was a lot there last week by reports from some of our customers. And little sink-in stick baits and little sink-in bibbed minnows worked quite well. So a couple little ones there from Jackson. They're quite small, but a lot of the bait out there around those Fads are pretty small. They hang around there for shelter. And these work an absolute treat. And lots of flash on them as well. So they're fantastic. Guys, coming into around the 24s now. Still a fair few Spanish mackerel this week. And just trolling liveys and hard bodies has still been working not too bad. So if you're trolling liveys, just in gear, very slow, just on our little wire rigs that we make here in store work quite well. Or you can make your own. And that's been working really, really well. Either behind a downrigger or just one on the surface. Or if you're trolling 2 rods, one of each. So even if you don't have a downrigger, guys, you can put a lead on your main line just to get that bait down a little bit so you're covering all water columns. So that's been quite well. As well, a few long-tailed tuna around that type of area as well. So 24s and 18s, guys trolling baits and lures doing well on them as well. If you're more into snapper fishing, obviously it's getting cooler. The last couple of mornings have been absolutely freezing, but the snapper are definitely in full swingers at the moment as well. So again, 18s, 24s. The outside edge of the 24s works quite well this time of year as they kind of move in from out in the deep. And I'd be throwing little soft plastics around that 4 to 5 inch size, and obviously just vary your jig head weight just so you get to the bottom. You don't want it to rock it down because you'll just catch all those little stuff. So grinners and red rock cod and things like that. You want it to flutter down nice and natural, and they'll always get engulfed on the sink. So definitely a good option over the weekend with that westerly, a little bit closer in and quite accessible. 18s, again, mackerel, few cobia around as well. So try to find the bait when you're jigging bait, even just put a livey out the back and you might catch cobia. There's been a few, and yeah, still mackerel around there and the snapper as well. So moving in a bit closer, around the blocks type of area, and around the bait reef. There's been a few dewies this last week as well, mainly on liveys, so jig up some bait and put them back down. Just a big ball sinker straight on the bait. So we see a fair few guys still running a sinker to a swivel and then a bit of trace to your livey. Yes, it definitely works. We just run the sinker straight to the bait, so straight on top of the snell, only because then your livey doesn't swim up your line and tangle around. So if you've got a few problems with liveys swimming around lines and things like that and causing tangles, just try putting that sinker straight on top of the bait, put a little glow bead in between so it doesn't make that noise with the sinker hitting that top hook, and I'm sure that'll fix your problems and you'll catch a few dewies. So apart from that, guys, offshore, that's about it. Swell this weekend doesn't look too bad, but definitely be mindful of the seaway. It is a run out tide early, so you might get a little bit of pressure wave activity because it's so shallow, but the swell is well under 2 meters. It's around about that. So it's 1.5 at the moment. It's supposed to be dropping out to about 1.2, so it shouldn't be too bad at all. So, but as always, just double check it on the day and don't go out in the dark. So coming inside now, up the pin, obviously high tide early, guys, over the weekend. Definitely a good time to chase a few tailor around the pin bar. Beat a few dart and things like that, and trevally around the wash as well. So around those breaking waves on the corner, the northern end of South Stratty. Definitely a good area to, again, throw those little stick baits like those ones that we showed before. If not, spinning metals work quite well, all the small surface lures. And definitely keep an eye out for the bird activity and try to fish around those areas where you will find lots of bait, because it'll definitely attract more fish. Again, on the tide change, I'd be trying for flatties around that deeper water. So along the end of Caruso or around Kalinga Bank type area. Definitely not a bad option. And then jig in the actual deeper water through the pin bar for dewies. So quite a few dewies caught in the pin bar this week as well. Live bait and big soft plastics. So big soft plastics, we're talking say 7 to 9 inch with quite heavy jig heads to get it down on the bottom. And then liveys up that way, guys. Try to get some pike or something like that, which you can find on all the weed beds around Tipler's type of area or Goldbank as you come north. Around that area as well, guys, you got the new lagoon up the pin. Still been a few wide in around there as well as some good sea bream and a few flatties as well. So flatties up in that shallow water. It's quite a big tide in the morning. I'd be throwing those type of fellas there. Tide minnows, one of my favourites for in the shallows. 3 sizes there, so 120 being the bottom, 140. So that's probably our most popular sizes. And then if you're chasing those real big ones, I'd be tying on the 175. So we've just got a massive reorder of these ones, all in stock, ready to go. And yeah, these are definitely one of the big fish providers over the last couple of years, and this year's going to be the same. So they just work really well, and great little lure for the shallow stuff. While we're up the pin end, still a fair few muddies around the Logan River and around the Russell Island type area. I'd be trying any little creek mouths or anything like that. Try putting them not right up in the creeks, but just on the edges, or even just on the edge of the channel, and only because it's a little bit more consistent water temp this time of year. So as it cools down, you will still catch a few crabs, but generally they just go for a little bit deeper water. So only because the shallow water always is a lot cooler this time of year. So something to look out for. As well, a few prawns caught this week around the southwestern corner of Macleay, so up around the Saltworks area. Throughout the week, smaller tides are definitely better. So that run out of a morning smaller than the run in during the day. So try to get there either on daylight, you'll get the high tide, and then you can prawn that run out tide as well. So definitely a good option. It's kind of coming to the end of the season now, but it's still definitely worth giving it a crack. Down around Tipler's type of area, we went out flatty fishing, Jack and I, on Wednesday. I think we got 8 or 9 fish in a couple of hours, so it wasn't too bad. And the size is pretty good, pretty reasonable. A lot of fish around that 45 to 55 type of size. And little plastics worked well for us. So we tested out a few. Those little paddle tails worked really well. We found a little bit of clean water with a bit of bait. We used these little fellas too, which worked well as well. So just rigged on a little 1/6 jig head, fished really slowly. These are a little ebby shad from Valley Hill. And really easy to work, guys, because they got so many legs on them. So it's like a little paddle tail. Don't know if you can see that there, but it's got the little legs. So as you're working it forwards, those legs are folding back, creating more little, more vibrations, more turbulence in the water. And we caught quite a few on them as well. And decent sized fish for a small lure as well. So big thing is this time of year, and especially at the moment, there's a lot of the dirty water around. We just had a look around for some cleaner water. Fish those drop-offs as it's draining off the bank, and definitely you'll catch a few. Apart from that, guys, just yesterday, massive restock of the Irukandji stuff. So if you guys like prawn styles or paddle tail plastics, they do some really awesome lifelike looking ones. That's a little 80mm one, a couple of new colors that we haven't had before, and these things are gonna catch flatties like they're going out of fashion, along with brim and dewies and things like that as well. And definitely this time of year with those prawns running thready. So little prawn plastics this time of year, going to be an absolute winner. That's the cast in the plastics thing. We saw a couple guys trolling up there as well along the banks and saw them catch a few fish as well. So trolling's a great way. We say it all the time, but to cover a bit of ground, and really good if you've got kids or it's quite windy over the weekend, and you can just keep the boat in gear, just putt along the edges, where it's running off the banks quite good, and just small little hard bodies like those little Erratic 50s. They work quite well. Xeric, another great one. We've got those downstairs, and as well as a lot of little Japanese divers that work quite well. So just in gear, guys. The big thing is when that rod tip stops vibrating, wind it in, you've got weed, take that weed off and put it back out. So you won't catch flatties with weed on your line. Down towards the Broadwater now, a few tailor on the top of the tide around Crab Island and out the front of Kurrajee. Look for the birds again, and if not at night, so we've got that last of the run in, late afternoon, early evening. Definitely a good time to anchor up around Crab or around Kurrajee like we were saying, and fish with pillies, lightly weighted pillies out the back, and you're bound to catch a few tailor. So just anchor on the side of the drop off, where it leads into the channel. Don't anchor in the channel. And yeah, just fish lightly weighted pillies, and that's a good option as well. Nice and easy. Around the seaway itself, I'd definitely try spinning for tailor around the end of the north wall. Around that hole, you get dart there this time of year as well on small soft plastics, and a few dewies in that hole around the end of the north wall as well, and around the pipe itself. Back a wave break, still a few wide in around, not as many. That water is starting to cool down. A few flatties are moved in bud as well, and you'll still get sea bream and things like that around the back there this time of year, and all of those banks down out the front of Aqua as well. Up Nerang River, still a few wide in around the back of the council chambers type area. So that's been working quite well. Just overnight, you do have a run out tide from around about probably 7 o'clock up there, I'd say. So a good tide over the weekend if you want to get up there and get out of the wind a little bit and catch yourself a feed of whiting. Surf fishing this weekend is probably going to be not too bad. So even though there's a few gutters starting to form after the cyclone, obviously it's been so flat and barren for a while, all that sand's washed from the dunes and it's just quite flat out to the outer bank. But I'd definitely be trying around, try to get some worms. Been a few worms out the front of a SeaWorld type area. Yeah, obviously pull some worms if you can and fish in that same type area. Lots of whiting, dart, and a few flatties in those shallow gutters. And there's been a few tailor starting just over the border. So if you do find a deeper gutter, definitely worth spinning a few metal lures or little sink-in stick baits, and you might catch a few early season tailor. Apart from that, guys, that's about all of the saltwater. Up the dam's been fishing not too bad as well. Hins, Warralong out to the west, and Maroon and Muggera. This time of year, I like to fish a little bit deeper. Those bass do start to school up. I'll be throwing small little paddle tails. I'll be rigging them with about a 3/8 head. Dark colour's quite good for bass, so dark purples, blacks and reds. And use one of these little jig spins. So jig spin essentially turns that little soft plastic into a spinnerbait. So a little bit more snag proof if you're fishing around timber. Added vibration, you don't have to twitch it or anything. Throw it out, let it sink down, and just a slow wind, and you'll definitely catch a few bass if you're in the right area. Guys, that's about it. Thanks again for tuning into this week's fishing report, and we will catch you at the same place, same time next week. Thanks, guys.